before you think, oh, this is a regular video about like narcissists and toxic people, it's not. Because what I'm gonna tell you now is these people are not people. And you know, maybe it sounds inhumane to say this, but let me explain why I'm saying that. I believe everybody has a soul. I feel it in my spirit that there is a spirit. And I think it's more common than we believe that people actually do offer their souls, sell their souls, so to speak, make a deal. They make a deal with whomever, and it's sad, you know, it's sad, but me, myself, I went through so much shit that I can understand where people are coming from because they want relief. And it can happen very slowly. It can happen with drugs. You know, you start taking drugs and then you realize, oh, I'm having these intrusive thoughts. You're attracting more chaos. You cannot function properly, like in your most efficient self. That's why resistance is a big part of devilry, because when we resist what is, there's nowhere good to go. It's just the truth. There's nowhere good to go, because if we don't accept what is, we can't find any solutions. People who are born very, let's say, into unfortunate circumstances are at high risk to sell their souls. And one thing that sometimes happens to us is that we get kind of traumatized spiritually. I mean, in general, but spiritually. For example, having reoccurring dreams that just make us, we know there's something deep, but we can't do anything about it. We feel terrorized. And I do think these are spiritual attacks. Now, if we don't realize that we have power, and if we don't realize that we are not at the mercy of everybody else, then it's easy to fall into this narcissism trap, because in reality, they feel like a victim. And instead of dealing with that and actually becoming strong and growing, they exchange their being for another being, which is demonic, because only a demon would want to play around with somebody who's already hurt. Only a demon would kick somebody who's on the ground, so to speak. But also, that's the only way demons can really get you, is with weakness. So we have to be really careful with that. Now, I'm just going to tell you my experience and how I know that I was basically dating the devil, or somebody who opened up themselves for Lucifer's spirit, or I don't know, devil's spirit. I think the devil is better, because you have all of these distinctions with Lucifer and Satan and all of these stories, which I want to go into in another video maybe. But for now, I would call all evil demon, devilry, whatever. Basically, I was very stubborn. I'm a person who is highly spiritual since very young age, or it's maybe in my genes or something, whatever. Of course, there's a lot of bad that came with it, and generational curses that are very strong. But I had a lot of power that I never realized. And I thought I was being judgmental, negative, even though that's not my natural being. My natural being is more, how do you say it, high spirits, like in a good mood. But I am very skeptical, so I grew up with a person who was so negative that I always thought, oh, negativity is just wrong, it just makes you an asshole, all of these things. So when I found out how horrible my ex's past was, I kind of always excused his behavior and I explained it away. Similarly to the beginning of the video when I said, oh, I understand, because I have a lot of empathy, but I didn't have any boundaries. Understanding somebody and all of these things, it doesn't mean you have to be with them. My mistake was I thought I could heal them with my love. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And because I was so stubborn, God showed me who, or maybe they had to expose themselves, because that's what a demon does. Like, they can never admit outright, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm being a bad entity. You know, they're never gonna do that. Obviously, they're gonna want to deceive people. They want to be the wolf in sheep's clothing, but in subtle ways, they do expose themselves. It's a law. It's a spiritual law. And there were lots of little things and weird inconsistencies and red flags, but the most in my face thing was one time he turned around and for a split second his face was completely distorted. It was like a demon. It was just like a really, I cannot describe it other than ugly, and it had nothing to do with my ex's features. It was a split second of almost like there was a mask, or there is a mask, and it just was gone for a split second. I was terrified. I thought because I was smoking weed at the time, I thought I was going through something, my brain, you know. I blame myself, which is always, it's always my go-to thing, but that was my downfall. Taking too much responsibility in that way, in a masochistic way. And after a while I realized I don't have delusions, because it doesn't happen to me over and over again. It happened to me only with my ex and my mom. And these people are actually possessed by demons, or they let themselves be guided or carried by demons. And that's the thing, it's a laziness that these people have. It's a laziness that they have. That's why they never want to self-improve, go to therapy, take accountability. It's laziness. I'm trying to stay calm, okay? Yeah. That's just what it is. And it was really intense. If you find a narcissist who is demonic, it's dangerous, because they can seem very, very attractive in a specific way. It's weird. Yeah, sometimes it's really obvious and oh, it's a player, whatever. I'm not really talking about that. I'm talking about they get you. You know, they get you somehow. And there's this strange connection there where you feel like, oh, it's chemistry, it's meant to be, it's a soul connection. And maybe that's true, but it doesn't mean that it's a good thing. It's not. You will notice that it's not, because you will feel depleted and all of the warning signs of being in a toxic relationship. You will just feel it. And you know what's the worst about all of this? Is that this leads to us distrusting and hating ourselves, because we keep taking these people back. We dismiss our own morals and judgments. We don't trust ourselves. We don't love ourselves when we do these things. And it's self-hatred in the end, because even if you want to change, you're already disappointed with yourself, because you're like, oh, I know this is how I did in the past. Why should I trust myself to be able to get out of it? And how could I thrive after ditching this person? Maybe even you're scared for your life. That was the case with me, because I pushed it so long. I just was so stubborn in thinking that it would lead to something good. You know, all of the years that I've invested in this person, I thought it's gonna pay off. Because I'm not a demonic person. And same for you or anybody else who went through this. You always think about, you have your own head, you're in your own head, and you kind of, if you're a good person, you assume that other people are good, at least on the inside. But I had to realize that I'm not an asshole if I correctly judge people. If somebody does something over and over and over again, like, it's just, why are you denying it? It makes no sense. Basically, I felt like I was sleeping with the devil. I'm not being honest with you, and it's, I want to be honest, but I don't want to. I don't want to trigger people who are still in it to stay because of this. In a romantic sense, I mean, not romantic, I mean in the bedroom romantic sense. It was really intense, it was addictive. But you know what happens? It's not consistent. Nothing is consistent with these people. So they start pulling away, they start manipulating you with it, making you feel like shit, because maybe they always have a high libido or whatever it's called, a high drive, but then suddenly they don't, and then you get insecure, you question yourself, you're like, oh, do they have somebody else, all of these things. But the bottom line is, it will never stay. And if you're desperate like I was, you will try to get this back. You will do everything you can to get back to this state of this extremely sensual experience that feels divine. And you know why it feels divine? Anything that goes into your body, you know how they say that, oh, in my heart, da da da. It's because the deeper you go inside, the smaller you go to an atomic level almost. You are a spiritual vessel. You are a vessel. Anything that goes on you is important, but things that go inside of you, it's a massive thing. And that's why it's so hard to completely break free. I've been separated for years, but I still have this person in my dreams as an unwanted guest. That's where lucid dreaming comes into play and really is helpful, because you can actually deal with people in your dreams on a spiritual level. You can also do meditation exercise. I think there's I think it's called forgot the name, but it's a Hawaiian method of cutting your soul ties. So basically, it's simple. You don't even have to look it up and do it in a specific way. If you meditate about this person's connection to you and you let them go without resistance, meaning without the feeling of, I want to take revenge, oh, you deserve this and that, oh, I hope karma comes for you. That's in the beginning stages, but you have to come to the point where you already forgave yourself for being with this person and allowing all of these boundary crossings. You forgive yourself for that, and that means forgiveness, and then you're ready to let go. Even if you do it a few times, it really helps. Maybe it doesn't help one time, maybe you have to do it 3 times, 4 times, but believe me, it will come up. And I was just thinking about it. I just wanted to sever this connection. But to be honest with you, I was just so occupied with healing. Like, there's so much to it, especially if it's been going on for years and years and years, or also if it's linked to your childhood. So like, this person is like a parent that also abused you or whatever. It can take a long time. It's complex. Give yourself some grace, you know. Don't be like so impatient. There's no reason to. You think a year is a long time, but after the years pass, like now it's 2024, I'm like, okay, I don't know where 2023 went, you know. Even just having this intention is already enough, and that's how I ended up having this dream where I could finally turn away from him, and that was so cool. I was like, I would always dream about him picking other people over me, cheating on me, all of these things, being deceitful. I dreamt it so much, even though I felt in real life, I felt like I was over this person, but they kept coming back. So I just had this intention, I want to get rid of it, and then I had this dream where I just could turn away. I'm like, okay, whatever, like, I don't care about it anymore. And it was so freeing. It was the first time where I really felt that way. Because in dreams, it's unconscious. It's really hard to be strong in your dreams, I think. And you have to do a lot for it, but it's really worth it. And at the end of the day, I learned so many things. So now, I understand that there was some sense in that. Just quickly about the Lucifer or like devil part. I'm not joking about this. I get goosebumps every time. So I know that, you know what, the devil just loves good people. He hates and loves them at the same time. It's what narcissists also do. They love what they lack, but they resent it. They feel judged. They feel like, oh, you're better than just by existing. And that's why I don't care anymore if people don't like me or whatever, because that just exposes themselves. It's true. It's true. The devil is a liar, yeah, don't forget that. So whatever you feel, oh, I cannot find anybody else, I will not have a connection like this. I hope you don't, okay? I hope you don't, because you don't want it. After a while, you will be over it. And the thing is, for me, it was almost too late. I almost lost my life. So this is serious stuff, and that's why I'm making these videos. Don't wait until it's too late. There's nothing gonna change. Nothing's gonna change, believe me. I was going on a date yesterday with a person that I blocked because I just had this intuition. I just felt a little inconsistency, but I was like, oh, you're being too harsh, da 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 da. So I unblocked him, I had a call, I felt like it was okay, you know, I felt quite comfortable, to be honest. We went on a date, but then it turned out to be such a weirdo, like, it was such a weirdo. He ended up talking about he lived in Japan for 2 years and that crystal just fell out. It's not a crystal, but he was talking about, oh, I was in Japan and then this family suggested for me to be married to their daughter. And he was 30 years old at the time and she's 14. People always tell them themselves, yeah? Because he said, oh, well, I was like, oh, what's the dowry? What's the down payment or whatever it's called? He claimed because he thought it was a joke, but no, you don't react like that to these things, you don't. That's demonic to me, to entertain things like that, even as a joke. It's not funny. And he kept, in the end, he wanted to kiss me. I don't kiss strangers. So I was okay with the cheek, you know, cheek, other cheek, other cheek. He kept pushing it. I think he asked 5 or 6 times. And it's like, oh, one spot is missing. And I gave him my nose. I gave him my nose, okay. And he kind of dragged it out because he just wanted this kiss. Don't let them win. Don't let them win. That's all they want. They just want to exploit you. They want to connect with you. They want to feel you. That's how they get your energy. I healed. One of my pets was on the verge of death. And I healed my own pet by just holding it. Because, you know, we can explain everything scientifically if you don't believe in all of these things, which I don't know why you don't believe in it and why you believe in science, as if science is always a real thing. It's not, because a lot of it is just theory, to be honest with you. But anyways, that's how they get to you. There are lots of birds right now, and it's like a storm coming or something, so it's a bit of a weird time right now. But anyways, yeah, he pushed it, and you know what he said at the end? Fuck you. He said fuck you to me because I didn't kiss him, and I was like, it was like a joke, yeah. But what? It's not a joke. Like, that's also one thing that annoys me about these people. They always disguise everything as a joke. I don't joke about these things. I have dark humor, okay? Believe me, I have dark humor. I can laugh about my dad who died. But you know why? It's because he was a narcissist, an asshole. Because he was a psychopath. And I don't joke in a malicious way, but I can laugh. You know, it's a coping mechanism and stuff like that. So that's not... There's nothing wrong with that, I think. But I was like, I will block you as a reply. And he's like, oh, go down fast on the ground because you're not going to have connection to block me. That's not how it works, sir, okay? I still can't believe that he cussed at me because I didn't want to kiss him. That's a huge red flag, believe me. And then afterwards he said, I was like, because he was almost whispering, it was like, fuck you. It was in public. So that tells you a lot, yeah. If people do these things in public, you don't want to know what they do behind closed doors. It's crazy. And what annoys me about these people is sometimes they can be smart in a weird way. Like my dad, he was a philosopher. He had a doctor title, or what's it called, master's, I think. No, you know, the highest degree, that's what he had. he was lecturing at the university and stuff. He kind of had this Jordan Peterson-esque way of talking, and he was intelligent, I'm telling you he was, but in some ways he could be so stupid, and this is so dumb. This guy who said F you because I didn't kiss him, he was a mathematician or something. He studied math, like. And I know another one who's a programmer as well. And there's always a disconnect with nature, animals, you know, sometimes they try, because every human needs these things. They want, deep down they want to be saved. That's why we feel like, oh, we should save them, blah, blah, blah. But just, it doesn't work, it's too much. It's too much. It's like people who don't like you because you speak the truth and you love yourself, and they're envious and they're like, oh, I cannot do. For some reason they think they can't do it. For some reason they think, oh, somebody else has something, that means I'm less than them. It's stupid. And to everybody who thinks they are a special warrior and, oh, it was just too much for me and other people and everybody else is weak and I'm not. I'm sorry, but you have, the energy of the narcissist has rubbed off on you way too much. Way too much. The reason why I'm saying it's too much to save them is it's something that only God can do, okay? Only God can do. Only themselves can decide, oh, you know what? I'm gonna change. And, you know, you can work yourself to death, so to speak, trying to save them, but it will never work. And they will hate you. Even though you love them and stuff, they will just hate you. Don't fall into these traps yourself. What you have to learn is not to be like them. Don't be like them. And only because there are lots of these people, because if you look at the statistics and stuff, it says, I think 2% or something is a narcissist. Who admits to being a narcissist? Excuse me. That's so dumb. Nobody ever asked me anything about mental health or something. Nobody ever asked me anything, so I don't know who are they asking, where are they making these studies, how are they saying 2% of the whole population. That's so stupid. That's where I don't like science, because it's not true, it's not factual. And a lot of people have narcissistic tendencies, and a lot of people have these demonic tendencies. I'm just gonna call it demonic from now on. I mean, I will say narcissist because that's the only time people actually want to listen and have a long attention span, apparently, which is a bit sad, but you know, some people don't like the wording and demon and stuff like that, but it's just how it is in a spiritual sense. Stay tuned if you want to learn more about demons and how to get more powerful in a spiritual way, because the spiritual always transcends to the physical. Love you. See you soon. Bye.